Well, good afternoon, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boot Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. We're taking a break from doing some work in the Man Cave workshop. I've got a whole bunch of orders and stuff for you guys to get out to you, and I'll get back to that in a few minutes. But of course, the other work we got to take care of is keeping you up to date with all that is the Dallas Cowboys. And Mike McCarthy just finished having his press conference for the day, letting us know that we have one more practice day of mini camp tomorrow, and that of course veterans are released for the summer, and that's the time of course that you want to hold your breath and hope that nobody gets into trouble. But they will be doing communications with the players, even though it's vacation time, on basically things that they may be installing and so forth. There is of course rookie school that is next week, so Monday through Friday the rookies will still be here working out, which is great. The thing that's actually really, it seems to be big on this, is Mike McCarthy kind of admitted that this is really still like a new coaching staff that's still from last year when they were hired, because they didn't have that offseason and that direct contact with the players, that they're still just beginning to get everything together on getting to know everybody and feel like they are a completely new staff. And let's face it, the defensive staff is definitely all new. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pose a question here because, there's other news besides the Dallas Cowboys, and one being Aaron Rodgers, who is a no-show at mandatory minicamp and the whole drama that is. I believe, and maybe I'm taking it the wrong way, maybe you guys can tell me if I'm wrong on this, and once I do this clip, we'll go through all the other notes and things for today. But I believe Mike McCarthy just threw some shade on Aaron Rodgers. Now, you tell me, but to me, I think I'll discuss after. Let's listen to the
clip. They get these players what they need to get back strong. So, he's. I've been very impressed with Brett, since I arrived here. So, I have great confidence, and we definitely got our guys working with the right guy.
Do you think Dak having something of an influence on others in the rehab room? We've heard a couple guys talk about seeing Dak work, seeing Dak's progress, motivated them to keep going. Even though he wasn't on the field, for much of last year, did you see his leadership in that respect kind of carry through into this coming season?
I'll just say this: Dak Prescott's leadership exudes through the whole football operation. I'm sure it goes far beyond that, but the everyday interaction with him is so consistent, so steady, and he's just real. I mean, he's as real as a person that I've been fortunate enough to work with, and I've worked with a lot of great ones. But yeah, he's the same in the training room. He's the same in obviously the locker room, the weight room, the equipment room. And everybody, he has such a strong relationship with him, and it just speaks volumes about the way he goes about his personal and his professional life. So, and I believe this. I mean, it's, he reflects. He reflects exactly, I know what I'm looking for, and he definitely reflects what the Dallas Cowboys are looking for in their players, in the people that represent this organization. And this is, in my view, this is his team. I mean, he's the face of the locker room, and he's the guy that I want to lean on the most.
Wow. Okay. So, to me, and again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but to me, that seemed like he was throwing some shade on Aaron Rodgers, because you see that whole situation where Aaron Rodgers is in there with his players and stuff, and Aaron Rodgers in the offseason is not in Green Bay. But you see Dak Prescott, even when he was injured, there supporting the team and things. And it wasn't necessarily saying the ability on the field, which it's too early to tell if he'll end up being as good as Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. Is still early in their careers. And when you think about how much time that Aaron Rodgers actually sat on the bench behind Brett Favre before he actually got his opportunity, Dak is about as far along as Aaron Rodgers was. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate from all of you guys, but, what else is new? It doesn't matter what I do. I will get a lot of hate and stuff from you guys. But notes that I took from from this, of course, and things, of course, to kind of worry about is Amari Cooper, of course, his ankle. He had surgery immediately after the season ended to work on it. They're kind of holding him back and hoping that he will be ready by training. But this is where decisions have to be made by the Cowboys. Let's understand that as much as you want to be able to say we want to hold on to everybody, you have to look at so many different things in the equation. Amari Cooper, to the Cowboys' credit, basically when you look at his $100 million contract, it's basically a 2-year deal because the guaranteed money is $40 million, which is last year and this year. If, per se, they worry about the nagging injuries, and that's where we were with Dez Bryant, they can end up letting him go without having to pay, big money like, say, when a team got rid of Odell Beckham or things. They actually structure this where they protect themselves down the road. Do not give me the hate mail. I know you will anyway, but I'm not saying that you should get rid of Amari Cooper. But every offseason, you're seeing that he's been dealing with the same injury over and over and over again. And when you have now a guy like Michael Gallup, a young guy, and I'm not saying Michael Gallup is a number one, but you do have a young pup that is exploding right now in CeeDee Lamb that could become that number one. And maybe one of these other guys that you have currently on the roster or somebody you draft later on could be that other guy. So that's one of the decisions, and I'm not saying one way or the other, but you look at this because if it ends up being that you end up having to sign Michael Gallup as a number 3 wide receiver, that'll be a lot less money than Amari Cooper as a number 1. Make no mistake about it. Amari Cooper is a great receiver when healthy, but these are the things you have to roll the dice on and understand as a team and management if you're going to be able to get value for what you're doing. So we have that. Also on the injury front, Donovan Wilson, our safety who came on last year like gangbusters, is being held out of practice. They're saying nothing serious. I don't have word on exactly what the issue is, but they don't seem to be concerned about that, especially right now with it being that we're only in early June, that we have 6-7 weeks before training camp starts. And speaking of training camp, they will definitely, it sounds like they're definitely going back to Oxnard for training camp. They're not releasing a schedule. They haven't said whether or not they will be going back to Oxnard after they play in the Hall of Fame game. So it could end up being that it's a shortened Oxnard. For example, the Washington football team will be going to Richmond, but for only 1 week this year for their training camp. The Cowboys may look at it as, we'll start out training camp in Oxnard, we'll run that and everything else, go to the Hall of Fame game and things. I'm curious. The game is on Thursday. The induction ceremony is on Saturday and Sunday night. If the Cowboys will allow their players to have that weekend off to be able to stay there for the induction ceremonies. For me, I actually think that would be good from a team-building standpoint to see 3 Dallas Cowboys Hall of Famers, to go there on sacred ground and see the legacy of the Dallas Cowboys, to see what the others brought forth well before you, and to see the standard that you should be living up to, I actually think would be a great thing for the players to say, I want to be up there in Canton. What can I do to help get myself there? That can be a big motivating factor, at least in my mind. But the question will be will they say, we're going to go ahead and pack up everything from Oxnard and have that shipped back to Dallas and then go back to Dallas for the rest of training camp. They don't have that scheduled yet. They're still working out the ifs, ands, and buts and stuff with Oxnard currently. Mike McCarthy definitely is planning on being in Dallas for the long haul because he says come July, his family will be moving to North Texas from Green Bay. So no more of this back and forth to Green Bay and things for the family and stuff. The family is coming. So Mike McCarthy is definitely saying, I'm going to be here for a while. Randy Gregory. My morning video was about Randy Gregory, and it seemed that there was a conflict between Randy Gregory and the coaching staff where Randy Gregory did not get a chance to start in a single game last year. Yet was actually very, very productive. Of course, he did miss the first 6 games because of being suspended for past weed use. Randy Gregory, who has not had an off season of mini camps and OTAs and training camp since his rookie year, actually played well and actually gave you hope for the future. For whatever reason, we showed some of the press conference from Randy Gregory, who is smiling for the first time that I ever seen him, and probably did more talking in that one press conference than we have gotten in his whole career. Basically let it know that, there was conflict on playing time for him and so forth, and that there was definitely not a belief in him as well, that things seem to be different this year versus last year. And having him being able to work out here during the OTAs in the offseason, I think will actually bode well for him. Mike McCarthy reiterated that he looks really good and that he will have a bigger role for the Dallas Cowboys this season. So that's the basic notes. If you want to, you can actually go to DallasCowboys.com, and you can watch the full interview. We'll probably end up getting a few more clips and things out of this later on. But this is the gist of it. Mike McCarthy is definitely a little more open than, say, a Bill Belichick would be, and giving you a little bit more information. Bill Belichick would never let you know anything about any injuries and so forth, or any game plans whatsoever. It's kind of like, well, why are you having actually a press conference? Because you're just kind of mumbling, blah, 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 blah. Get off my lawn. That's Bill Belichick. All right, y'all. It's time for me to go to work. And as always, I appreciate you guys being here. And you are now up to date with all that is the Dallas Cowboys.